Welcome back, children. Here I am with a new lesson, lesson number 9. It's raining. This is such an interesting unit as there are so many fun-filled activities you can carry out in your homes and learn so much about rain. Before we study about how we get rain on earth, let's get introduced to the lesson with the help of a story and a poem. Here we go. Apu ate bananas. This is the title of our story. Apu likes bananas very much. He plucks and eats bananas from the trees every day. One day, he saw that the banana trees were drooping. It had not rained for a long time. Children, do you know what you mean by drooping? Drooping means to bend, hang, or sag downwards. This happened because the plants had not got water as it had not rained for a long time. I must get water in my trunk, said Apu. He started walking towards the river. Apu drank water till he was happy. He bathed his body with his trunk. We all know, children, that elephants have a long trunk and they use it for smelling, breathing, trumpeting, drinking, carrying loads, etc. So, in our story, Apu used his trunk to drink water, bathe, and to carry water in it so that he could water the plants. Then, he carried water in his trunk and poured it on the banana trees. As soon as the trees got water, they came alive. Apu said, "From now on, I will get water for you every day. After all, you also give me ripe and tasty bananas." What do you mean by the banana trees came alive? It means that the trees became fresh and stood firm and straight again. Here you can see after Apu had watered the trees, how fresh they look. Now, let's answer a few questions. How did Apu know that the banana trees needed water? Children, Apu knew that the banana trees needed water because they were drooping. The next question. From where do the plants growing around your house get water? The plants growing around our houses, for example, in gardens and parks, are watered by gardeners and also get water from rain. The trees growing on the roads and in forests depend only on rain for water. The third question is, Apu drank water from the river till he was happy. Have you seen animals drinking water? Well, let's try and answer this. Yes, we have seen animals drinking water. We give water to our pet and domestic animals like cats, dogs, cows, etc. We can also see stray dogs and birds drinking water from around our house, from the roadside, small ponds or open water pots. The next question. Have you ever given water to any animal? If yes, which animal? Yes, all of us must have given water to birds. In summers, we generally keep water in the balconies of our houses where birds come to drink water. We also give water to our pets at home. Some animals are not given water by anyone. From where do they drink water? They can drink water from drains, ponds, rivers, etc. Now children, let's read this poem on clouds. Fair and white, grey and black, the clouds arrive in a magic pack. Elephants and horses, dogs and fawns. Sometimes they look like a pair of swans. In moments they come, in moments they go. Sometimes they freeze and for weeks they stay. And sometimes they disappear for many a day. Sometimes they pour, sometimes they thunder, spreading the colors in a rainbow of wonder. And sometimes they hail, pelting the ground, breaking the glass in ringing chimes. This poem is written by Harish Nigam and it is translated from Hindi just for us to read and enjoy it. Here, the poet says that some clouds are white and fair, and some clouds, like the rain bringing clouds, are grey and black. And he also adds that these clouds take the shape of different animals like elephants, horses, dogs, and fawns. He also says that sometimes they look like a pair of swans. The poet also adds that the clouds do not stay in one place, they keep moving. Here, children, the poet also adds that water from the clouds comes down to the earth in different forms like rain, hail, and snow. Finally, the poet talks about the lovely rainbow which appears like an arc in the sky in 7 wonderful colors. What a lovely poem it is. Children, I hope you all enjoyed this poem. Now, let's answer a few more questions to understand this poem better. The poet saw many things in the clouds. Have you ever seen anything in the clouds? According to the poem, what all do the clouds do? Clouds take shapes of many animals like dogs, cows, elephants, etc. and move here and there in the sky. Have you ever seen a rainbow? When can you see a rainbow? Yes, we can see the rainbow after the rain, when it's drizzling on one side and the sun is on the other side. How do you feel when it rains? We all feel really very happy when it rains. Though some of us may not like the rain as you cannot go out to play or you may feel dull. But most of us love the rain and even like to get wet in the rain. Apart from clouds, what do you see when it rains? We can see lightning and rainbows when it rains. We can see lightning and rainbow when it rains. What happens when it rains? Our surroundings become green, peacocks start dancing, everyone becomes happy. But sometimes we can see waterlogging or even traffic jams when it rains really heavily. You read in the story that Apu watered the banana tree. But elephants don't water trees. Then where do plants get water from? Yes, plants mostly get water from rain. When it rains, plants seem to get a new look. So, we can say that rain is the main source of water on earth. I'm sure you all enjoyed the story and the poem in the introduction of the lesson. Now, let's get into understanding the lesson. I think most of us think that raindrops come down from heaven. Is it so? No. There are so many processes involved which brings rain down to the earth. We need to first be able to understand how we get rain. We need to first know what is evaporation and condensation. Let's try and understand what these processes are and also mention a few examples to understand them easily. So, what are we going to learn now? We will try to understand the process of evaporation and condensation and give examples and identify daily life situations where we come across evaporation and condensation and list the properties of water. I think most of us think that raindrops come down from heaven. Is it so? No. There are so many processes involved which brings rain down to the earth. To be able to understand how we get rain, we need to know what is evaporation and condensation. Let's try and understand what these processes are and also mention a few examples to help us understand them easily. So, now let's try and understand the process of evaporation. Here in this picture, you can see water boiling in a saucepan. In this process, water is boiling and changing into steam or water vapor. Water, which is in the liquid state, is changing into steam or water vapor, which is the gaseous state of water. So, we can say that the process by which water changes into water vapor is called evaporation. I repeat, the process by which water changes into water vapor is called evaporation. Now, let us see other examples of evaporation in our daily life. Examples of evaporation: drying of floor after mopping, drying up of hair after washing, wiping up of a table, drying up of water from a bowl kept in open, formation of steam. You can see in this picture, wilting of leaves, drying of clothes in the sun. You can see this picture here. Drying of hands after washing. These are some of the classic examples of evaporation. Here in the next picture, you can see tiny droplets of water on the bottle. The water is seen on the outer surface of the bottle. Children, can we say the bottle is leaking, or is it a magic of some kind? No. Then how did the water get there? You know what happens? When you take out a cool plastic bottle from the fridge and place it on the table, after a while, you can see tiny droplets of water on the bottle. Let me tell you what happened. When you take out the cool plastic bottle from the fridge and place it on the table, after a while, you can see tiny droplets of water on the bottle. Let me tell you what happened. When the water vapor in the air around us touches the cool bottle, it cools down and forms water. So that is why you can see tiny droplets on the outer surface of the bottle. So children, we can say that the process by which water vapor changes into water is called condensation. I repeat, the process by which water vapor changes into water is called condensation. Now, let us see other examples of condensation in our daily lives. Water droplets on a cold water bottle or a glass, dew drops on grass blades, water droplets on leaves, mist on mirror, fog, mist on car glasses, mist on cold plates, water droplets on a cold Coke can, and water droplets inside the plate which we use to cover hot milk or a hot dish. These are some classic examples of condensation in our daily lives. Now, in the next picture, you can see both evaporation and condensation together in the same picture. You can see water boiling in this kettle. This boiling water is changing into steam or water vapor, which is evaporation. And you can see when a lid with ice cubes on top is placed above the steam, the water vapor hits or touches the lid and cools down and forms droplets of water, showing condensation. So in this one picture, we have seen both the processes, evaporation and condensation together. Now, let us see the properties of water. Children, do you know that water exists in 3 forms or states? What are the three forms or states in which water exists? Yes, water exists as solid, liquid, and gas. Ice is the solid form of water. Water is its liquid form. And water vapor or steam is the gaseous form of water. I repeat, water exists in three forms or states. Water vapor is the gaseous form of water, ice is the solid form of water, and water is its liquid form. Now children, you can all try this at home. Take an ice cube from the deep freezer and leave it out for some time. After some time, you will see that the cube of ice has turned into water. This is because the ice melts and turns into water. If this water is just left on the table for some time or maybe a few days, that is, this water changes into water vapor. So, we can say that ice becomes water on heating and this water on further heating becomes water vapor or steam. In the same way, steam or water vapor becomes water on cooling and this water becomes ice on further cooling. The process by which ice becomes water is known as melting and the process by which water turns into ice is called freezing. So children, here I repeat, ice on heating becomes water and water on further heating becomes water vapor or steam. And this water vapor on cooling becomes water and the water on further cooling becomes ice. Now we are going to study some more properties of water. Now take a glass of plain water. You will notice that it has no color. Now smell it. You will know it has no odor or smell of its own. Drink it. You will find it has no taste of its own. The water you have has taken the shape of the glass it is stored in. Pour out the water into a jug or a bottle. It will take the shape of the jug or the bottle. Now, you will notice that water does not have a shape too. As every time you store it in a different container, it takes the shape of the container. Now, if I add roux afza or any other flavor to it, it takes the color, taste and smell of that added ingredient. When I add roux afza, water tastes sweet, turns pink in color and smells of rose petals. Now, can I say water tastes, smells and looks like roux afza? No. So children, we can say that water is colorless, odorless, tasteless and shapeless. That is, water has no color of its own, no smell of its own, no taste of its own and no shape of its own, and it takes the shape of the container it is stored in. With this, we have come to the end of this session. Hope you understood all the facts about water clearly and thoroughly enjoyed this session. Thank you children.